Well, hallelujah. We are live right here. So I'm Angela M. Odom. I'm a Christian, a mother, an author. Almost. I'm working on it. Gotcha. I'm going to actually interview an author this morning. I'm so excited that I could just fail out. Woo-hoo! So I'm a business owner and a blogger. You can actually go visit my blog and subscribe at angelaodom.com. And this interview of Lorie Fanning, the author of Healarious Reasons to Stay Married, will be available for you to view on my YouTube channel. And that's angelamodom.com. And so today we are, I don't know if the word is ecstatic or excited. I don't know what it is. It's a bunch of them words all put up together. But we're grateful that Lorie has offered her time, allowed us to share her brain this morning. Quite frankly, we're going to find out about her inspiration for writing her flip book and what she has seen as the fruits from that, and how her family interacted with the book beforehand, and then during the process, and of course afterwards, because it's been a few years since she's written this delightful book. And so with that, I want to just make sure you know that my intent is to have a monthly interview series, and Lorie has graciously allowed me to interview her during Christmas. It's just about Christmas, y'all. Isn't that something? So December 2015, she has opted to share her time with us. And so with that, Lorie Fanning, thank you very much for your time. And we just want to welcome you to this interview. And so just tell us a few things about yourself, please.
First of all, thank you for having me. And this book is simply inspired by my desire to improve my marriage as well as other marriages, and my love for soldiers and the Army family, actually the military family. And I designed this book strictly for the military initially, because it is designed to fit in the Army cargo pocket. That is the woman's side, and that's the men's side. And it is so small that, like I said, it fits in the Army cargo pocket. And I simply thought about when I was in the desert, and I thought about all the wonderful things about my husband and the things I just missed about him so much, that I thought, well, there's some other people sitting in the desert now. And as a retiree, I thought maybe I can pull something together that adds some levity and some laughter with the Strong Bonds program, or even with family support group units, or to individual soldiers. And I wanted something that I could provide at a cost that was reasonable for a private as well as for a general. And I subscribe to the idea that love is love, whether it's a private's love or a general's love. But they don't have the same economic status in their households. So I thought, well, I want something that supports whatever union at whatever stage financially that might be. And when I designed the book, part of my catchphrase was, you can share this with your spouse for less than the cost of taking her to lunch at McDonald's. And you literally can, because like I said, you have two books for the price of one. It's a $10.95 book. And in the middle of that book, you meet and think of your own hilarious reasons. There are reasons on the women's side, which we'll touch later, and there are reasons on the male side. And my husband often said, I don't like you speaking for men. I'll speak for the men. And he pulled together all the scriptures. There are a few scriptures after every few of the reasons in the book. And we wanted to make sure that there was nothing offensive. This whole project was designed to laugh, to love, and to heal, because often we find that after so many years of the work in a marriage and children and responsibilities, we tend to forget to laugh. And the laughter and the levity that brought you together is often diminished as those responsibilities heap on and as deployments heap on. And my husband's a retired firefighter, so they have as many traumatic issues as the military has. So I thought, well, with the stress of that particular profession, and with the stress of my profession, we could come together and think of something that would help heal and bring some levity and some laughter, because often, like I said, it diminishes. And you have to remember, you got together because you enjoyed that person's company. So I wanted to get a product that, in a nutshell, allowed you to laugh, love, and to heal and to inspire one another. And there, like I said, there's nothing offensive at any point in the book. So that is what the project is designed to do.
Well, that was a very good introduction. Now, so as far as your marriage, how long have you been married so far?
Years.
Did you say 26?
26 years, and May will be number 27. We're moving right along.
Awesome. And so, at what point in your marriage did you make the decision that you wanted to start this project?
Well, I don't think we made a decision to start the project. I think the project took a hold of us because, like I said, the hills and the valleys and sometimes those low points, you think, I really don't need this. Hey, I'm checking out. And so many marriages think, hey, I'm checking out of this. But sometimes if you walk through that struggle, you walk through that hurdle, you come out on the other side with a lesson. And this project took a hold of us because I simply thought of all the reasons that it made sense to me to just check out. Let's call this, hey, it's been a good run. I'm done. But every time we thought of those hurdles, we thought, hey, that was another lesson. So as we accumulated reasons to leave, we started flipping those and saying, hey, what's the other side of that? What would be a reason to stay? And as the reasons just grew and grew, the project sort of took a hold to us. My husband said, hey, I think you got something here. And it just accumulated. And I would say maybe around year 15, 16, and because it just got to be my journaling. And I tend to doodle thoughts and ideas for my girls. And as they grew and the project grew, and I kept looking at it and I was thinking, And then I started researching, how do you pull something like this together? How do you make a book? How does this come to fruition to be able to share with somebody? How does this improve? And what does it do for the greater good? And our desire early on was to do the most good for the most people and to be a couple for Christ. That was one of the earlier wishes, that sometimes you write down those goals that you don't remember you wrote down. But when you look back at the list, you find, we did say this is what we wanted to do. And so that's kind of how the project came to us 15, 16 years into the marriage.
15, 16 years into the marriage. And then so for you just mentioned your girls, and as full disclosure, you and I served in Operation Desert Shield, Desert Storm together. And I remember how much you and your husband, when you would get those letters, how it would just bring you so much joy. And I know that those few in between phone calls meant the world to you, and I know they meant the world to him. And so I know about the distance, and I know how you all grew together as you reunited. But I'm interested to know about the children and how they, what their perspective was on the book itself when you all started writing it. And then, by the way, how did they actually support it, and did they provide input? About what age were they when it finally was published?
Well, actually, when they became aware, because we all journal, they're big readers, because in this house, readers are leaders, and that's just our belief, because they're huge readers, and anything that I'm writing, they want to know, wait, what's that? What are you doing? What are you doing? And they create wonderful stories. They've done that since kindergarten. That's just a way of life here. It is as easy as breathing that they will write something, and they're vivid writers. And so as I wrote along, and my oldest may have been, she's 16 now, so she may have been around 13, 14 when she realized, hey, this thing is coming together. Mama's doing something. This is a project. So they wanted to read it. And my youngest was around 11, and I had the word damn in the book. And they were like, hey, is Daddy letting you do that? Because they're like, hey, Daddy's the conscience of this team. I think you need to find another word. I said, but this word gives it so much power. Don't you feel the difference between if I say damn and darn? She said, but Mama, I don't think that's where you want to go with this. And she just stood her ground on that point. And as she talked about it and very maturely debated the issue, I was turned. So I had to remove the word damn. And so they were very invested. And they love the idea that mom and daddy's working on a project together. Short of the reason that daddy's got his good eye on her, he's not going to let her use the word damn. And that they're working on this project and daddy's bringing the scriptures in and they're critiquing it together. That gave them a sense of security and a sense of buy-in, that we ask what they, what they thought and what their visual was for future projects. And I see my children have given away a number of my books, often without my permission, because I was like, the numbers aren't adding up. And someone would say, well, it was so-and-so's mom's anniversary, or so-and-so said her mom and dad argued. And so I want to give them this book. I thought it would help. And so they see the value in laughter in a marriage. And I can see too where they would be insecure if my husband and I have a heated discussion. They're like, hey, you're not messing up our happy home. So they want to have some glue to hold that thing together. And so when their friends have an anniversary, or they may love a teacher and they want to share this book with a teacher. And so I think it is an opportunity for them to feel proud of something that their parents have put together. And it gives them a sense of security and a sense of teamwork. And so they buy in, but they want to know, ooh, what are we going to do next, and how will we profit from it? Because I tell them, they're my proofers. When I hit a certain level of achievement, I say, okay, this is your share at this level, and if I get to this level, this is, and they like, okay, we're on the team. So they have a great sense of buy-in.
Oh, I love that. Do you mind? Would you mind reading some of your favorite passages? I would imagine all of it is your favorite, but if you just maybe read just a few from the women's side and from the men's side.
Well, in the spirit of chivalry, we'll do a couple from the women's side first. On the women's side, and one note about the book is on the women's side, it's a little more wordy because women like to talk, and on the men's side, there are fewer words. And on the women's side, it says, one of the reasons, stay married, because where you see a stubborn mule, your child sees their favorite pony. Because daddy's just fun and we're just going to ride him, and you're like, he's stubborn as a mule. But their visual of your husband is a lot different than your visual of your husband. And another good reason is stay married, because even Disney has thrilling highs and chilling lows. And it's the happiest place on earth. So even Disney has some ups and downs. So why shouldn't marriage? And on the men's side, marriage is the only legally binding contract which allows people to willingly pledge 100% of themselves and in return expect a lifetime of love, devotion, and support. Men are concrete animals. They want to know, what is it? What's in it for me? What am I going to get? What's the value? And another one is a good husband can extract superior love from an average woman. And we take a look at reasons that men have versus reasons that women have. Women are more into the touchy-feely, the love. Are you in love with me? How much do I mean to you? Men's reason lean more into the, what does it equate to? What is the value of it? What is it going to equal? How much are you going to respect me? It leans more towards a respect slant versus a love slant. And we often discuss in small groups, when I do groups, men would prefer that you respect them. Women would prefer that you love them. As an overall rule, when we talk about loving or respecting, my husband will quickly tell you, you not love me. You don't have to love me, but they got to respect me because I know what I'm doing. And I look at that and I'm like, respect means a great deal to men. And when women can grasp that, and what we see in the book, if you try to read his side, it's upside down because you don't understand him. You have to flip it, and then you understand your side. And that is a funny thing in the workshops that we do, that we clearly see that you're never going to understand his language, but you have to appreciate his position. So that's where the workshop comes in handy, working in tandem with the book. But again, the book is a standalone item where you can sit and enjoy the reasons with your spouse and meet in the middle and think of your own reasons.
Well, you've given us a really good overview of the inspiration for the book, the the value added within your own family, and then what kind of feedback you get from others. Can you just talk to us about the process, the business process of getting the book published?
Well, the business process, I did everything on the checklist of things not to do, things never to do, because I bumped my head into walls several times because I thought, and this is my one opinion, and my process may not be everyone's process. The idea of finding a book publisher was going to be an additional cost, which I'd have to pass that cost on to my customer, who, like I said, is often a private or a specialist in the military. And I wanted to figure out how to keep the overhead low. And to find a traditional publisher is another financial burden. In addition to finding editors, that's an additional cost. So I decided, with all my educational background, I would say my friends who are educators, I had several eyes on my work. And these are some of the greatest English teachers available, some of the greatest minds available to me. And I had them review my work over and over and over just to see, how does this come together? What do I need for this to come together? I had theologians to review the scriptures, taken straight from the King James Version. I didn't want to tamper with any of that. So I wanted to make sure that those scriptures were straight out from the Bible as is. So between the grammatical pieces and having educators look at that piece, having theologians look at the scriptures, those were the professionals to say, yes, it's a sound item. But then I had people come together and say, okay, who are printers in the area? And so I had friends review printers that they've used. And this was over a 2-3 year process to understand, okay, these are printers, these are the cost. So how do you get a quality item while at the same time keeping the cost low for that private? That private was always on the forefront of every decision. How does this work best for the private in the United States Army? Or even a lesser ranking individual in any military force, because I wanted to keep the cost low, for one, because I'm a retiree, I understand what a budget means. And I want to make sure that I could enhance relationships through this project and figure out how to make it come to fruition at the best cost for that customer. So when I got all these professional minds to give me the different pieces and get their opinions, then we had a decision-making process of the best printers that I had eligible in this area, because I didn't want to do any overseas printing. Is an option for some people, but my product is an American product for American troops. So I didn't want to go that route, the overseas printing. And some people told me about that. That just wasn't for me. And I found a local printer who just happened to be a Christian printer. And he said, I believe in your project. So I think we can do some work, because I think this will be your first printing. And as you move forward, let's see what other things you want to do. And as a matter of the cover of the book, I even worked with students. We have such brilliant students who are graphic artists, and they do a lot of computer work. So I hired a local student to do my cover for the book. And we've had 2 different covers. My first printing was one cover. My second printing has evolved to an additional cover. But every piece of the project was done at a very strict budget with professional eyes that were not mine, because I didn't think I was professional enough to even put a project together. I just knew that it was a passion. And I know when you're passionate about something, if you do it in the right frame of mind and for the right reasons, you can pull the resources together. So I've never been a professional author and didn't claim to be. I simply wanted to put a project before people that would enhance their lives and the lives of those around them. That was my bottom line objective to do. But I wanted professionals to put it together with me so that I could make sure that I brought something that was of quality to the best quality human beings on earth, because they're defending our freedom and our rights. So I want to make sure that I put the right people together and had a sound product at a reasonable cost. And when we got to the piece where they put this book together, they showed me several different binders and several different covers. And I thought, there are lots of ways you can bind the book. But what's the most cost-effective way to bind the book? And how does it best fit in the Army cargo pocket? And this was a finished product. And those professionals guided me through and were very patient at Professional Printers. And when we finished the product, I was surprised to see how well it came together and how many boxes. And I've done really well with figuring out, okay, this is my target, this is my customer, and that is primarily the military, and secondly, churches, a number of churches. So when you say, how does it come together from start to finish? There are a lot of moving pieces in that wheel. And to be able to pull those pieces together was a huge challenge for me, because I don't have the patience. I just like to see it happen and happen quickly. So that was a great lesson for me. And the marketing piece on the back is a whole different animal. So putting the project together, yes, that piece took patience, but the marketing piece was a whole different education for me. And I'm still learning to do that piece. So that in a nutshell, it is a lot of moving parts, and I was just a conductor. And we came out the other side with a book.
Well, I must say that you conducted yourself very well. Now, and I will beg to differ about you say you're not patient enough to do it. You did it. So you are in front of 99% of the people who say, I want to, I think I can, maybe I can, I wish I could, I'm going to do that one day. You did it.
well, and driven by the passion.
Yes.
It was simply driven by, I want soldiers to have something when they're sitting in the desert. I didn't have something when I was sitting in the desert to say, let me jot these thoughts down. I simply had a friend that I said, please remind me when we get out of this to appreciate my husband and get him the best keyboard on the market. That's all I had. And so I was able to do that. So I think if I follow through with that one thing, imagine if the soldiers sat down and thought of 10 great things about their spouse that they could tell them when they got back. That's what kept me, that drove me.
And I know I just happened to be that friend. So I did want to ask you about you mentioned deployments and mentioned soldiers, and I have read the book myself, and I think it's broader than that. I think more than the military would appreciate it. Actually, they do, because I've showed it to several people, and so I know your focus and the passion was to make sure that it benefited soldiers. I personally believe it benefits a broader market than that. And as people see this video and they're saying, well, maybe I can provide this to my spouse or to my aunt or to my cousin or to my friend, or let's just read it ourselves and let's grow from this. Even if you're not married, it's hilarious. It actually gives you hope. It's inspirational, and it's quick. It's a very quick read. I really enjoy the different points in it. I mean, I laughed myself silly, quite frankly. And so for me, I just want to just make sure that everyone knows the book is broader than the military audience. Although we are proud veterans, we really encourage everyone to take a look at it. And so can you tell us where people can get hilarious reasons to stay married?
Yes, they can get it at laugh@justhilarious.com, and I'm going to put that on the screen as I speak. Laugh@justhilarious.com. And I also have coffee mugs and t-shirts with Healarious on it. And so you were mentioning different organizations would be interested in the book. Yes, we do marriage retreats, and I have a poster here from a cruise. I've given the book and done workshops for different organizations. I've done some things for some universities and women's groups. I've done mommies of multiples, because as you can imagine, if you have a child and you'd like to make sure you have date night, there's a challenge to even find a babysitter for one child. Imagine the mom with quads. How does she have date nights with 4 infants that someone needs to babysit. So when we did a workshop for mommies of multiples, they were just thrilled that this was something they could sit at home and share with their spouse. Because maybe if you can't make date night, can we do a hilarious reasons to stay married? Can we sit down and laugh about that? So different organizations are interested in the book, as in churches, family advocacy groups. There is a broad audience, and bridal showers. There's a huge audience. But when I started, my passion was to serve those that I know serve. But as I did the right thing, people started to come around and say, hey, maybe you're on to something here. So the passion was for the troops, and it blossomed. It just mushroomed to those churches and marriage retreats and word of mouth, because beauty parlors now buy my book, and they can't keep it in the beauty parlor. You'll find it in the USOs from Canada. It's in Afghanistan. It's Iraq, of course, and several different places that I have no idea that my book was there. And I may get a call or an email and find, oh, I found your book in Nashville, USO, maybe. And I think couples who've been married for several years. I had one couple married over 50 years. And he said, the gentleman, he was a retiree. He said, I read your book and I saw my wife in there. I saw my wife. And I said, well, that means I'm on the right track, because if you have that much experience and you could see something in there, that means there's hope for me too. So I'm just at 26 years. And if he's over 50 years, I may be on the right track. So not only newlyweds or people who are thinking about getting married, it was great and energetic for a person who's been married for several years, because you can always inspire your spouse with hilarious reasons of your own. You can always inspire and love and laugh and lift wherever you are at whatever stage of a relationship. And that leads to future projects, because we have future ideas of hilarious reasons to love your sister, hilarious reasons to love your brother, hilarious reasons to love an educator, because every hilarious book will be designed to inspire and to lift someone, because we live in a world where people often appreciate you, but we're so busy they don't get to say it. So just something quick that says, hey, I appreciate you, I thought of you today. That's powerful, to appreciate someone and to give them that acknowledgement, because often we're thankful, but people don't feel thanked because we didn't mention it to them. And this is just a very small way to mention that you've appreciated wherever someone is and whatever they've contributed to your life.
And so one of the things I just wanted to make sure we let the viewers know is that you are a veteran, and you served in I think 2 or 3 wars. I know for sure we were together in Operation Desert Shield as a Storm in the early 90s. I know you went to Panama, and I know you served in the active Army, the Guard, and the Reserves. And so you are well-rounded and definitely an inspirational veteran. And also, I noticed you were a teacher, and you taught with all your heart. And I know that you've done other endeavors, and so you're well-rounded. And so really, the book itself comes with your personal life experiences. And for me, of course, we want to empower through our proven life experiences. And you're definitely, if it was baseball, you've already knocked that ball out of the park. And I hear you say there are future projects, and we know where we can get this particular book. And I wanted to just give you the opportunity before we close, just for a few more remarks.
Well, I like to ensure that everyone in your audience knows that the Healarious projects are designed to love, laugh, and to heal. And as an educator, I know heal, Heal, and us. They're highlighted simply because these books are to heal us, because we have broken homes, broken marriages, broken relationships, or even bruised egos. But to lift someone and to make them feel better about themselves, we can have a sense of healing. And it doesn't take a whole great a great movement. It takes one word of kindness, and that is what the Healarious series will do. I am the owner of EduCamp Services, and EduCamp Services provides workshops for workforce development, staff building, team building. But as a wing of EduCamp Services, I thought my Healarious series was my personal passion, because professionally, I do want to develop employees. I do want to develop staffs because that's what I do. I'm an educator. On the other hand, I have to live in this world, and everyone in this world wants to be acknowledged and appreciated. They may not mention that. They may never say that. But I think if we can acknowledge and appreciate anyone around us, that makes for a better day for everyone. You often have the mail, your postal carrier come. You often have the plumber come. But how often do you appreciate that person or let them know that they're appreciated? If you have a landscaper that comes, do you ever take a bottle of water out there? See, these small tokens of appreciation is what the Healarious series will be about. This may be that little drink of water when you do your Healarious Reasons to Love an Educator and you purchase that book for your teacher for Christmas or for Teacher Appreciation Week or even in Secretary Appreciation Week. I think the Healarious series is my small way of saying to those around us, hey, I see you, I acknowledge what you do, and I appreciate it. And for you to have your own Healarious Reasons in the middle, that's just extra, because that individual now knows not only did they think to buy me this neat little book that gives you reasons, they had some reasons that they actually thought about me or even highlighted their favorite reasons, because I have some husbands who aren't very wordy, and they may go in and instead of writing some reasons, they'll circle their favorite reasons for their wife, and their wives appreciate that. So however you choose to use a Healarious resource, it's to heal and to laugh, to love, and to lift. And again, you can find the book, the mugs, as well as the t-shirts at laugh@justhealarious.com. That's LAF at HEAL, just Healarious, JUSTHEALARIOUS.com. Laugh@justhealarious.com. Thank you for your time.
Well, we thank you so much for sharing your inspiration for writing a book, how it impacted your family and your marriage, your kids and their involvement, and the actual business process that you went through. And then, of course, the book itself, the benefits for anyone really in any category to read it, to give it, to actually heal and laugh as they are interacting with the words from the book and sharing the thoughts from the book. It's coming straight from you all's heart. And so we appreciate your time. Thank you so much, Lorie Fannin, today for that. Again, I'm Angela M. Odom, and you can follow me on my blog at angelaodom.com. This particular video is a new series we just started, and it's an interview series once a month. And you can find the interviews on my YouTube channel at angelaodom.com. And so for me, I'm a Christian, a mother, a blogger, a veteran, business owner. And for me, I simply want to empower others through proven life experiences. Be encouraged and be empowered. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Have a good day.